Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe race on this April 11, 2017. Riders are out on course in the A field, getting ready to go through the marina and on over to the reverse Watopia climb. It's going to be a fast and furious race today. Riders are all in the A category is what we are currently following out there today. We will move back toward the B, C, and D category as riders get in toward the finish line. So let's get right into the action as the riders are out on course for the KISS Zwift Road Race Series right now. So as you can see up toward the front of the race right now, in this A category race, we do have Arda Silva here hammering away, it looks like, in the MDCC kits, right along with Justin Purificati actually at the front as well. I didn't notice until just now that Justin was in the race today. One of the riders that was at the recent CVR World Cup event, actually, who actually took the win today. So looking to jump right back into racing out on Zwift, it looks like. And for the virtual event, looks like he may be one of the favorites to take the W, as he's already taken one this past weekend in a real life LAN event over in Vegas. Up toward the front here, though, we do have T. Sullivan coming out of the USA, as well as D. Heath from the team Type 1 coming out of the UK on that Tron bike. If you're unfamiliar with the world of Zwift racing, right now this is an event that was organized by the community, but also set up in Zwift with the event module. And so the event module is essentially where you can join a group of riders to be held in a corral and be sent off for the duration that is set up for that race, automatically sent down that course and tracked with all the other riders. So as you can see here, we are looking at the A category. Everybody on the right hand side of the course does have A in their name, and Manson up toward the front here putting out 3.5 watts per kilogram or so. For the A category, only 4.0 plus watts per kilogram. Well, it's assumed that you can hold 4.0 watt plus. If you did jump in and can't hold 4.0 plus watts per kilogram for your FTP, you probably will find yourself quickly off the back, because it's somewhere between 4.0 and up when it comes to the racers in this category. The riders are looking fairly anxious at this point, as we do have Hugh Weiler here coming out of Switzerland at 4.5 watts per kilogram up toward the front wall here from the Bolt Racing team. As you can see from the signification in his name in the brackets there, BRT in his name. Then it says EVR and KISS in his name as well. That is so that he is tracked for the races that he is currently signing up for. So being a part of the EVR, which is also another race series, and then KISS in his name makes it so that ZwiftPower.com can track him for the race that he is in right now. If you have not visited ZwiftPower.com, you can go ahead and do so by just sending that into your browser, and that will show you all the races and events that are going on today. You will be able to track live then with ZwiftPower.com the riders in that event as they make their way around the course. I actually do have ZwiftPower.com open right now with the live results of this race, and I'm actually able to see all of the past history for these riders that are currently in front of me in this A category. Jay Van Bers, actually, somebody I'm not familiar with at all, coming out of the Netherlands here. Jorgen Van Bergs, only 3 races, and that would be the reason why. And I can see that information by clicking on his name over at ZwiftPower.com, and it shows me the past races that he has done. Now, I'm actually seeing a lot more than that. It says 3 races, but I'm actually seeing races all the way back through the 22nd of March last year. So interesting, that's only showing me a few here at the top of his for his Zwift results. It says 43 races actually for Zwift results. Strava results are 3 races, so maybe there's only 3 races saved in Strava. So he actually took a 2nd place in the team Italy Gladiators race, actually, on the 3rd. That would be about a little over a week ago. Team Italy Sperla Zima race as well. He took a 4th. His last win wasn't a B category race, actually, and recently got an upgrade, it looks like. For that B category win, he got the upgrade. I'm assuming he's probably pretty high up in the results. I am seeing that Brett Boniface did win that race, not surprisingly. But looking through here, we do see Jay Van Bers has fallen off pace though from an attack from M. Wall, and the Melting Man Beck is there as well up at the front from Team ODZ. Melting Tallow from the KRT team, well-known racer out of Canada, been racing with us here on the network for a really long time. Good to see him making the break here. We do see Pierre Ficati now countering the attack though. Beck and the other ODZ rider, Pierre Ficati, Le Monstre. It looks like ODZ in full force today with Vegan Porsche from Vision Cycling. Barholm is there as well. Plusmers is following from Team Experimental, the only Team Experimental rider actually in the front group. Hugh Eiler now just hanging on the back here with the Melting Man doing everything he can to stay on terms with these boys. He has to stick to these wheels right now or he will be absolutely gone from this pack. As soon as they crest over the top of this climb, the speeds will be crazy high, and if you are not on a wheel, that group will fly away from you. Webb has made it here from Vision Cycling. M. Waldo was countered. The BRT rider, he was the initiator, it seemed like, up and over the top, but he was countered very quickly by Hugh Eiler and the rest there. Looks to be falling off about 3 seconds. He doesn't close this right now. It will be GG for the duration of this race. And being a fast, furious race today, full-on cyclocross or MTB style, they will be hammering the entire time. No one is going to be waiting up. We do see up toward the front now again here. Pierre Ficati still leading it out, and I think he may be looking for that reverse KOM. He already did a 346 today. I believe that was most likely in the XRS race just prior to this, I would assume. Vegan Porsche now coming over the top as well. Looking in here, 332, 333, 33. These are insanity times, boys and girls. These boys are pushing each other, that is for sure. Up and over the top of the reverse climb without a group with you, pulling a sub 4 is difficult, but with that motivation from the rest of the riders, you can really throw down some serious efforts and times, as well as the draft effect of the group does definitely keep you moving as well. The Monster is here, 6.3 watts per kilogram, grabbing right on the Barholm's wheel. Pierre Ficati used that aero power up to rest a little bit and gain a little time over anybody who may be off the back. Vegan Porsche here does have a wheel. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Hugh Eiler as well, but as you can see, it's completely strung out at this point. And there it goes, 14, 16 actually seconds. Back to M-Wall. From the Bolt Racing team, it looks like. So he's going to be hard-pressed now to hold off Szerzynski, Hein, and it looks like FLMRU coming out of Canada there. So we do have a lead group that is established now. It looks like it's going to be probably around, I'd say, maybe 10 riders or so. Let's go ahead and see what ZwiftPower.com has to say. Coming over the KOM banner, it is going to be 10 riders exactly, actually. Barholm, Melting Tallow, Le Monstre, Plusmers is there as well. Adam Webb, Vegan Porsche, and Manson, Justin Pierre Ficati, Seebeck, and S. Hugh Eiler. Hugh Eiler coming out of Switzerland, actually. 14 races total that I am seeing, and his last result was a WBR 1 lap flat back on the 3rd. He did win that one, but had no heart rate monitor on. If you do not wear a heart rate monitor, a lot of times, well, it is almost across the board for all race organizers that they will not allow you to actually have a result from that. So just so you guys know, make sure if you're going to be jumping into a race, you do bring a heart rate monitor with you so that you do not, and do wear it so that you do not get taken out of the results in the end. I do have our social media tools up, so if you guys would like to tweet at us, I can bring you right into the program today. You can tweet at ZCommunityLive, and we can see all that and get active responses over Twitter to anything that you would like to communicate to us through Twitter. I can also see the posts over on Zwift as well, so if you would like to throw us any kind of communication through the face of the book, you can go ahead and do that as well. Actually, it looks like I have to sign in again for some odd reason over at the face of the book, but we'll get that done, and we will be able to bring in any of the information that you would like to communicate with us or questions that you have, because we'd love to answer any questions that you might have about the racing or riding out on Zwift. It does look like Le Monstre here, 167 beats per minute is starting to get away here. Vegan Porsche here, 4.7 watts per kilogram. Webb is sitting right on that wheel. It looks like these two are working well together to stick with this lead group. Vision Cycling also has Barholm in here, so 3 Vision Cycling boys, it looks like, up toward the front, heading through the Essies here in the reverse. And the main place, the nice thing about the reverse at the Essies is that the longer sharp climb is not right off the bat. So you can have a couple little kicks over and over again, and then there's 1, 5, 6, 7% gradient as you're exiting into the reverse sprint banner that you do have a chance to actually cause some mayhem and try and get away. Actually, we are seeing Le Monstre here out to 9 seconds. Le Monstre stays away from these boys. He is definitely going to be a threat, as he is an extremely strong rider coming out of the UK here. But we are seeing Webb now 7.8 watts per kilogram, getting organized with the rest of the Vision boys here. Now 7 watts per kilogram. Barholm now holding on to that wheel. ODZ with C. Becky's here as well. Beck, somebody I'm not extremely familiar with, actually. I will go ahead and bring up his SwiftPower.com and see where he has been at for the last few races. I am seeing ODZ Beck here. 82 results total. FTP around 345 is what it's saying. And XRS ZTR Tuesday, about 1 week ago today, took the W in that. Actually, to take the win in an XRS race is extremely difficult. So definitely somebody to be watching out for today. If we look back through some of the other results here, I believe we are going to have for Pierre Ficati a result just prior to this, as it does look like he did do XRS, and yes, I'm correct there. He did do the XRS ZTR Tuesday just before this. So this is a double-header race, actually, for Pierre Ficati, hanging out in that KOM. Does look like Kim Little took first place in that race just before this, followed very closely by Le Monstre 40, and then Justin Pierre Ficati about 1 minute back from the two men coming out of Great Britain. So Le Monstre still 4 seconds off the front. We are seeing a few power-ups being thrown down. Just so you guys know, in the KISS races, we'll go over the information here really quickly. And in the KISS races, you are allowed actually to use power-ups at any time whatsoever. So TT bikes are also allowed. And so for KISS races, a little bit more gamified, more about being able to use all of the tools that are available to you in the game. Only 3 seconds up to Le Monstre right now. It looks like these boys are working fairly well together to bring him back into the fold. And that is one of the advantages of having teams out on course here, as we do have Beck right along with Pierre Ficati, both ODZ boys. Looks like they've gotten organized with the Vision Cycling team and starting to pull Le Monstre back in. Webb now kicking up into 8.5 watts per kilogram real quickly here, jumping right on the Ploesmers wheel. We do see Ploesmers 5.8 watts per kilogram now, taking his turn as a team experimental boy here. 3.3, looks like they are going to make the catch. Webb now going right on by. As they make the catch, it looks like he's actually looking to counter the catch. And Manson here now just trying to hang on, it looks like, with the Melting Man, who is able to hang on up and over the top of the reverse KOM, which is a great effort by him. And for him to be hanging on this long, this is going to be one of the best results, I think, for Melting Tallow in quite a long time. Barholm now on the back here, 4.1 watts per kilogram. Beck now countering off the front by 2 seconds, and having a teammate in the race in the chase group is most likely not going to be chased down immediately. At 4.8 off the front, 169 beats per minute. Hugh Weiler here now looking at 4.2 on the front, unattached rider, so it's going to be up to him maybe and the rest of everybody besides Pierre Ficati as he heads to the front and then slows things down immediately at 1.2 watts per kilogram. So it looks like we are going to be able to sign in here over at the face of the book and grab your guys's interactions here as we are loading up our social media view for Facebook and Twitter. It looks like we are seeing a little bit of a tweet coming at me from Mr. Jonathan Noblet. Good to see Johnny over there and the over on Twitter here, sending us a little bit of information about what he has been up to. I think he's been working really hard in the background. As Etsy Community Live, he's calling out for a Melting Man KRT for the win, actually. For a little bit of an example of what you guys can do at Z Community Live. Hey, Nathan Garrett, not much sleep, but watching and working on some special stuff for next week. There's actually some really great stuff coming down the line, boys and girls, for all of the racers, as we are working hard in the background to make sure that everybody gets all the coverage we possibly can with the nicest setup for all of the results as they come through. So we're super excited about that. Johnny's hard at work there, as you guys can see, hammering away and looking tired. He's calling for Mr. Melting Tallow here. Now, a big congratulations also goes out to Johnny, as part of the reason that he's really tired is not just to work. He does have a brand new baby boy, Henry. So congratulations to him and Nikki, and just shout out to you guys. Get some sleep when you can, that's for sure. Lamont now still at the front here, 3.9 watts per kilogram. Vegan Porsche as well, 4.2, 4.1, coming out of Australia here, sitting in 161 beats per minute. Does look like the chase group is well formed here with JVD Berg Robic coming out of the Netherlands there with M-Wall from the BRT. D Heath is there in this chase group. We have Strzinski, who usually does not fall off pace here, coming out of Poland. Maybe he got caught out on that initial climb and now is off the back in this chase group. Another chase group behind him is going to be Fleetwood, along with, it looks like, Fidalgo and Arda Silva. So 114 is the gap up to the boys up here. I don't think any of them are going to be caught. 114 is extremely difficult to close down. Marius Humphreys, good to see you over at the Facebook channel over on Zwift. Thanks you, Marius Humphreys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Appreciate your presence here. We can see you guys chatting over on Facebook as well. I am jumping over into the stream over on Twitch as well. If you guys have been chatting over there, I will be able to catch that now as well. So I will be able to see anything you guys are bringing at me there. I am checking out the front of the B race here as well. It does look like we have G Magnus from Team ODZ. So ODZ well represented in the races today. Sternfalk as well as there for Vision Cycling with M. DeSirens. Glenn Jason's there for Vision Cycling with B. Curtis from the BRT team. Fagerland coming out of Sweden with Lomax. Then we do have Wotna coming out of Team Poland, from Poland. And then it looks like M. Jackson, Sellen, and Thompson. Solid group at the front of the B race. We'll make sure to try and catch them as they make their way toward the finish line as well for the sprint. Johan Wallstrom is saying, raced with pro triathlete Lionel Sanders yesterday. Holy cow, was he strong. Would be fun to see him in non-TT events soon. So it looks like Johan Wallstrom over at the Twitch chat's chatting us about racing against Lionel, actually, in the TT event. It would be cool to see him in some non-TT events as well. I'd have to agree with that. Frank is saying, nice job in Vegas, Skim Little, and the SW. Both those guys did do very well. And it looks like Kim is right back at it in the XRS right before this. James Hodges is saying it's definitely become more aggressive with all the 5 watt per kilograms we have now. Need a new category. Dafford Williams is throwing in there too. Hugh Weiler now out of Switzerland up toward the front here. It is going to calm down most likely over this next few K, because the next point out on course that they are going to find to try and get away from anybody is going to be the forward climb on Watopia. They will do that forward climb. It'll be the last section where they will be able to try and create any kind of gaps from in the uphill that they will be feeling out on course. And then on the other side of that, they will have some sort of a group or a solo breakaway until they hit the Essies as the final chance to get away before, most likely, I would say, going to be a sprint finish between these boys. The Melting Man here 1 second back from Le Monstre, but he's hanging onto some wheels here. Pierre Ficati following very closely here, 149 beats per minute, trying to get that heart rate as low as he can. Pierre Ficati here 150, Plujmers here 140, 139. Definitely one of the climbers out on course to be watching out for. Barholm and Webb looking very calm at this point. 162 though coming from Barholm. Maybe watch out for the drop off of this rider, as it does not seem that he's able to bring that heart rate too low just yet. Manson there 172 as they're going to start climbing out here at that 3% gradient. This is the first little kick prior to hitting the left hand turn and going up into that forward Watopia climb. Trying to loosen up some of the legs most likely here. We do have Manson here just trying to hang on. 7 watts per kilogram at the back now. 693, 115 RPM. Really kicking it, making sure he's not going anywhere. And maybe this is an attack coming from Manson. This is a rider I'm not completely familiar with coming out of the UK. We'll see what ZwiftPower.com has to say about this rider's experience. Ian Zwift, where is Manson here? And Manson, I'm seeing a couple of podiums actually in his last few races. 40 races totally riding for Team Velocity out of the UK. Nicky Manson has looks like a win actually in the EVR Europe race just yesterday. 4.08 watts per kilogram. Not into that 4.5 or 5 that we've seen from a lot of these riders that are at the front here, but if he plays his card right, maybe be able to hang on all the way to the finish and get another W. The EVR races are hotly contested. Not quite as contested, though, as a KISS or an XRS from what I can see. But Le Monstre here now going a little bit early, 159 beats per minute. And he's going to take this left-hand turn, and this is going to be the beginning of the end for some of the riders here. Melting Man sitting on the back here, making sure he gets as much rest as possible, has no teammates with him whatsoever. He's got a bunch of Vision boys and a few ODZ boys to deal with here as they make their way over the top. Plujmers here kind of isolated as well, but being a very strong climber, I'm not sure he's going to be going anywhere just yet. But the jitters are coming on at this point. People wondering what they got left in the legs, as Manson at 177, Hugh Weiler 172, Beck here 165, Vegan Porsche 171. These riders' heart rates are really ramping up. Plujmer's got a lot to work with, about 20 beats to be sure. But we do see Pierre Ficati here, the winner of the CVR World Cup, going way early on the Watopia climb, and that seems to be a theme with him this week, as he went from a lap out on the on the Richmond's course, UCI World's course, and won by half a wheel length over the llama himself out of Australia there. But that was at a live land event. Here he looks like he is trying to get away from some crazy remote riders here, as Le Monstre here 7.2 watts per kilogram going right on by. Webb now 10.112 watts per kilogram with a feather power up, trying to get away. Le Monstre here 7.7 as well. Pierre Ficati able to hang on to that wheel. It looks like Beck now going with an arrow power up as they hit this flatter section of the course. The two Team ODZ boys going with one Vision at the front. Webb here now fading though, 3.3 watts per kilogram. It looks like he's thrown everything in those pedals now. Another kick again, trying to hang on here. Plujmer's here 8.5 watts per kilogram. I did not think this would happen here, but Plujmer's one of the climbers caught out here, throws down that arrow power up, but it will be Le Monstre with Webb, Pierre Ficati, and Beck going off the front. Monstre here, 7.2 watts per kilogram. Pierre Ficati hanging on that wheel now, 190 beats per minute, making sure that nobody is going anywhere just yet. Continues to kick, and I know that he actually uses a cork for his power source, so he kicks it right on up over the top and will not have any fade in that power as they hit that flatter sections and need to ramp back up. He can just keep it consistent right on over. He also doesn't get the kick that the smart trainers tend to give on the steeper parts of the course. But now down to 1.9 watts per kilogram, create a little bit of a gap between himself and the Monster. Monster gets right back on terms with Webb and Beck. Plujmer is now 8 seconds back. I think it will be GG and a game for the TT to the line for Plujmers, as Le Monstre here is 5.8 watts per kilogram at the front. It's going to continue to go out as this group of four has solidified a podium, but there's going to be one dropped off at this point most likely. Well, there has to be at some point. Not all of them can win there, that's for sure. So at Z Community Live, American Coffee, the biggest point of contention of the CVR World Cup racers. Wait, what are we talking about here, Frank the Tank? Frank the Tank hanging out over at the Zwift Community Live Twitch. He was actually one of the competitors at the Roanoke event. Good to see you hanging out here. And actually, well, Vegas Coffee, I'd have to say, is bad representation of American Coffee. I mean, come on. The Vegas Coffee, we were at the Star of the Buck and a couple of other places definitely to try and find some coffee besides what was at the buffets. So definitely Frank the Tank. There was a little bit of contention from all of the participants, not just the international ones, Frank, that's for sure. And we are seeing here coming from the feed over at the Facebook, it looks like we've got Luke Hall hanging out. You guys should offer prize pots. They're actually, for real life events, I think is the best place to do that. David Adams is saying, is there a schedule for Zwift races that are being broadcast on this page? There's a schedule for the broadcast of the ZwiftCommunityLive.com pages. So if you head on over to ZwiftCommunityLive.com, you can find our schedule usually over there. I think right now it is in embed because of the CVR World Cup. But if you head to ZwiftCommunityLive.com, you can usually find a schedule over there. We do go live here on Zwift's Facebook twice, maybe sometimes 3 times a week, and we do try to spread it out a little bit to cover as much of the community's races as we can on Zwift's Facebook. So we don't make it a super consistent schedule for Zwift's Facebook, but we definitely have a consistent schedule on Zwift Community Live's Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find that in, there you go, right there. Thank you so much, Zwift Community Live, for posting that. If you want to follow our Facebook as well, there's always updates as to when we are going live and with what. Adam Webb now back at the front here, 131 beats per minute with C. Beck here, 5.0. Pierre Ficati, 3.8. Le Monstre now 3.0. It looks like Pluzmer is still in no man's land, but not going to be caught. Going to be a battle all the way to the line for Joachim Pluzmers to hang on to 5th place today. I do have the B race right now. I cannot bring the images in right this second, but I do have M. Deserns here. Now, Deserns out of Switzerland, 7 watts per kilogram, followed by Starlord out of Canada. D. Wout now coming from Team Poland, and G. Magnus right there along with them. Fagelon right along with B. Kerr. Sternfalk trying to hang on, but falling off the back just a little bit. Jackson's there as well. Looks like Glenn Jason out of Norway, falling off pace from the front group. 46 RPM, just turning over the grind right now, trying to get over that forward Watobi on a Cervelo S5 here. It looks like Salen as well as Larson a little ways back from them. So it does look like we do have Deer Sarens along with Starlord and Jackson at the front of this race right now in the B category. Looking to drop off G. Magnus from Team MoDZ and Sternfalk. We'll see if they'll get back together and make a group of 5 at the front in the B category. But that is the current situation in the B category. Currently, we are looking at Pluzmers right now. We're trying to chase these front boys down 14 seconds back, or at least hold off a chase group that's got the Melty Man and Vegan Porsche here at 6.3 watts per kilogram. The Monster here now 6.0 off the front just a little bit, but he's getting caught right back up with Webb, and then 2 ODZ boys who are most likely gonna put it to the other 2 in this group. We're gonna start seeing some cat and mouse, I believe, out on course here today. 6.2 watts per kilogram now coming from Beck, getting a little bit of gap over Le Monstre. Le Monstre is gonna be forced to chase here up into 9 watts per kilogram. Looks like Webb, will he be able to strong? Goes right into those huge watts to get right back on terms here, and it will be ODZ able to cover. Well, maybe not. There is a gap still. Beck now still kicking it into 6 watts per kilogram, but does not go anywhere. Webb goes flying right on by, and Le Monstre here, 2.7 watts per kilogram, settles it right on down. Looks like the next place to really cause any kind of mayhem in the legs just yet will be the Essies, which is that series of climbs we're coming into here. We can get a good shot here maybe from the helicopter. The helicopter isn't coming in for me. It doesn't give me the helicopter. We go under actually the and we go under the cave there. That's actually new, I believe. I don't think that has always been the case. But now we go through, you can looking down at the sprint banner. They're about to head into this section of course called the Essies. If you look in the upper right hand corner here, you can see the course profile. Currently, all they have left are just a few K here, and it does look like Le Monstre is up at the front here. They may have grabbed a power-up through this last section. I know a lot of power-ups were thrown down on the uphill of the Forward Watopia climb. Back trying to stay on terms here, 5.1 watts per kilogram. We'll give Le Monstre a ride-on. As you can see, all the ride-ons have been moved to the right-hand side of the screen here. Pierre Ficati now making his way to the top. We'll give them all ride-ons, encourage them through this last section of the course. This 5% gradient, probably the last point that you can drop anybody off. You punch it like crazy, most likely. Pierre Ficati up to the front here, 8 watts per kilogram. Monstre here, 118 watts, 165 beats per minute. Now we do see Webb going as well, 151. It looks like Beck unable to hang on through everything he could into the pedals. Now it's going to be a battle to hold off Plujmers, who's coming up like crazy at 5+ watts per kilogram. Melty Man kicking into 8, as you can see, trying to catch up to Plujmers, who's only about 14 seconds up at this point. Beck now 10 seconds, as you can see how quickly you fall off pace as soon as the uphill gradient, as you cannot hold the same pace on that uphill gradient. 3 watts per kilogram or so is a huge difference on those uphills. Pierre Ficati now resting real quickly here as they hit that downhill, and then kicks it right back in as they start heading up again on these little punchers. You can cause a little bit more pain in the legs at these points here, as each time you kick up, you got to be able to follow. We do see Le Monstre kicking again, 7.0 watts per kilogram. Pierre Ficati now going again as he sees a threat there from Le Monstre maybe. Webb able to go one more time, 156 beats per minute, up in that 700 watts real quick. Little kicks here and there coming from Webb. Le Monstre here, 3.3 now. Pierre Ficati, 5.8. Now hanging onto the wheels here. It's going to come right down to a sprint between these three, it looks like. And looking at Webb here, it's a good question. I think Webb maxes, though, at 172. I'm seeing a max heart rate of all time from Adam Webb at 172. So Pierre Ficati and the rest of these boys, they max out a lot higher. We saw up in the 190s. So a 174 or so is similar to a 150 for Adam Webb, just so you guys know. We are seeing Le Monstre here at 162 here, kicking it again. And 8.2 watts per kilogram going from way, way out. I mean, this is from extreme distance here. Pierre Ficati now just sitting on the wheel, getting full advantage, actually, of that kick, and just making sure he rests up as much as he possibly can here. 182 beats per minute. It's going to come right to the line here, it looks like, between these three. They're in the last 500 meters. Who's going to go first? Who's got a power up is going to be the real question, I think, here, as they are heading in here. Le Monstre up toward the front here, 4.3 watts per kilogram. We are seeing Webb now sitting at the back. Now we do see Pierre Ficati going from way out, 12 watts per kilogram, but it looks like somebody has the Aero power up, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough here. Pierre Ficati continues, but it's going to be Webb. It looks like 13 watts per kilogram. Will Pierre Ficati be able to hold it off? It does. Oh, and he just barely nips that to line. Almost like a repeat there of the Las Vegas there, as he was not nipped by Le Monstre. It looks like Webb will take the win ahead of Pierre Ficati, followed by Le Monstre out there on course. Nice job between those boys. We should have Plujmers here able to finish up just ahead of Vegan Porsche. Melty Man and Vegan Porsche here, though, out in all-out battle here. They might be caught, actually. Melty Man here closing it very quickly to Plujmers, and Plujmers going to cross the line. Melty Man saved it up for this moment, was holding on to that Aero power-up. Manson trying to catch him, but it does not look like it's going to happen, as that Aero power-up opened up that 1 second. 1 second over that few meters is just too much. We do have Vegan Porsche crossing the line just now, followed by Hugh Weiler here, and then Barholm, who was a part of that lead group, last one to be crossing the line. Garrett Simpson says, looks like I need a power source to race these guys. So having a power meter is true. You do need a power meter in order to be able to win categories, just so you guys know. So Z-Power is unable to win categories. We do have a Crystal Hager spotting out on course. Good to see here, hammering away Nice job as she's riding out at ZHQ. Usually, oh, Kate's out there as well. They're most likely at HQ doing, it's usually around lunchtime actually here when we do this race. But M. Wall now just crossed the line with Heath. But it looks like Kate and Crystal side by side hammering away at Zwift HQ. Always good to see. Moving back here, we do see LFL with JVD Berg Robeck here, but we do see a arrow power up coming from FL, but it might have been a little bit too late. As you do see JVD, he took full advantage of the speed that he already had and tried to kick right on by, but FL was able to get right back up to speed and goes right on by him for the W there amongst these boys and girls. So we do have Bernetti here with Hein. Looks like Hein going to be the next one across the line behind Bernetti with Guggen, and then Fidalgo. Fleetwood actually going to get better at Fidalgo here right at the line, just nips him, followed by Da Silva. Szerzynski then crossing the line next for Team Poland, followed by T-Boy. All right, let's go ahead and move on back because I do know the B riders. They are heading through the Essies right now. I do have eyes on Deersons. We're going to move all the way back to them right now. Click on through, and we should be able to catch them here in just a minute. We do have Jay Baker with BJ Alfonso, Roden then there as well, B Curtis from the BRT Jackson. This is the front now right here. Dear Sirens here with Magnus from Team ODZ and M Jackson making their way to the finish line right now. I am looking through here. I can see that these boys have put out 3.9, 4.0, 3.8, so it looks like people have done a pretty good job day in the B category and even the C category too of staying within category limits. So nice job to everybody there. No upgrades. Well, also, what's up, guys? Come on, get an upgrade, right? You can't win, right? So, but here we go. Sternfalk with, actually, I'm sorry, Desirens with Jackson and Magnus. Looks like Sternfalk has fallen off terms by about 20 seconds or so. Jackson kicking one more time here as they do head through that second kick in the Essies. Negative 5% grading, what he's feeling right now, 93 RPMs. Jackson now out of the B category, trying to hold on to Sirens wheel out of Switzerland as he kicks that feather power up that reduces his weight by 1 watt per kilogram. Then Jackson hanging on the wheel for 6.1 or so. Sternfalk kicking again, trying to get away from those boys that he's with, and it looks like it's going to be a 3-up sprint between them for the top 6, but the top 3 are off the front here with 7.2 watts per kilogram, 492 watts coming from Jackson here. Getting a 1 second gap. If this is not closed right now and Jackson's got the watts to give to the line, he'll be absolutely gone. But maybe the Sirens and ODZ have a power up hanging in the reserve here for that spacebar press to give it a go here. We'll see if Desirens is going to pull ODZ right on up to the wheel of Jackson. Though it is out to 3 seconds. This is a serious threat, boys and girls. 3 seconds over the last about 700 or 800 meters or so. Going to be a really difficult catch now, as we do have the downhill between 2 riders though, and ODZ looking to get the slingshot from the man out of Switzerland who's just pulling him right along, 4.6 watts per kilogram. Magnus playing it really smart here, sitting right on that wheel, and you know as soon as it stops having a downhill, we're going to see a kick here, I think, from Mr. Magnus here. 173 beats per minute, but where's the kick? And there it is. 5.5 though. It's not much more to give. It looks like as he's hanging on the Sirens wheel. Not sure they're going to catch Jackson. There's the kick now. 11 watts per kilogram. Last 300 meters to the line. Jackson's got 6.4. Will he be able to hold him off? Unable to do so. Just too much power coming from Magnus. And I think he kicked just a little late as he saw Magnus coming there and didn't take enough speed through the downhill there. That will be third place, then going to Desirens. Magnus, Jackson, Desirens. Then followed up by Sternfalk from Vision Cycling here, followed by Curtis from the BRT, and then Salin for 6th place in the B category. Nice job to all the racers there. And so his max might be close to 160. Luke Hall is saying about the beat sprint we were talking about earlier. Well, he kicks up in the 400 watts and then drops it down, kicks the 400, drops it down. Adam 1 did get the W there. Nice job to him. 38.50 total time on a figure 8 crazy fast for those boys and girls. We'll try and catch the finish of the C category here. We are seeing them come through right now with, I believe, R. Kirk, or maybe C. Whiting here. Moving forward again, D. Cook up a little ways from them. And then Jay Connolly. Jay Connolly, always a strong rider, coming out of Switzerland. I think maybe going to be amongst the leaders in this C category. D. Cook there right along with Connolly. It looks like, I believe, for the leaders in the C category. They are just coming through. It looks like the sprint section out on course. As we move back here, you can go ahead and take a look at the results today for the race. As we are seeing, it is going to be, let's go ahead and see if we can bring this up for you. I believe Adam Webb for the W2 day. And we can bring in desktop capture for you boys and girls. Let's go ahead and do so and give you guys what the exact results were today. So this is, if you've never seen ZwiftPower.com before, as we work our way back to find the C category, we can give you guys an idea of what went down today. So Adam Webb here, followed very closely by Justin Pierre-Ficati, and 40, that was Lemonstre. He goes by Lemonstre in game, but it will be Adam Webb, solid 4.3. Not the strongest rider, but the smartest rider maybe at 4.3 watts per kilogram. You are seeing Pierre-Ficati 4.8 total, and then 40 at 5.1. Back here threw down the most power actually on the day at 5.1, but did not take the win. So it is not always the strongest, but the smartest who takes the wins, as drafting is definitely real out on the world of Zwift. So moving back, we do see, it looks like Joachim Plug was rounding out the top 5. As we had said, he was able to hold off the Melting Man just barely by about 9 seconds. Nicky Manson there, followed by Anthony Vegan Portolino, and then it will be Samuel Heweiler and Pure Christian Barholm for the top 10. In the B category, Magnus here with the win. Again, smart races. Matthew Jackson and Martin Desirens here do get upgrades into the A category. Sebastian Surfalk then taking 4th, followed by Brad Curtis. So that will be the results there for the B category as well. ZwiftPower.com is where you can find the results. Community run website where they do take information from in-game and shoot it out to you for results for all of the races. For rankings, you can head over to ZwiftRankings.com, put together by CyclingGen actually, and you can see where people are ranking up in conjunction to each other. We are seeing Al Corbin here out on course. With that verification badge. Good to see Al Corbin here hammering away. Has the KOM actually, reverse KOM, out there hammering 69.8 kilometers so far. Moving forward now, let's go ahead and see if we can find the front of this C category race, as I believe Connolly is leading this out, maybe with Cook, right along with Leyland. So it is going to be D Cook here, 5.1, 4.3 watts per kilogram. A little bit of a kick here. I'm going to go ahead and move down and see how Cook is doing on the under 3.0. Connolly's right along there with him, 3.1, so nobody over category limits, so nice job to them. Hanging out here at 2.0 watts per kilogram in this C category. Going to be a battle of the line, I think, for the win between these two. We do see Connolly going at about 2.9 watts per kilogram, 168 beats per minute. So according to ZwiftPower.com, 160 so for Connolly is going to be, I'm going to look through here real quick here, 179 is a max heart rate, so definitely up into a VO2 max effort at this point. Cook doesn't have any past information that I'm seeing as far as heart rates go. Has definitely raced before, though. So looking through here in the United Kingdom, 33 races total. Douglas Cook with an 8th place in the C category in the second base race, actually, on the 20th of March. So jumping back into some races. Good to see him here and hammering away in this C category race. Maybe for the best race that he's ever had, actually, out on course. So solid effort here coming from Cook just now. And we are seeing 4.0 watts per kilogram. He does look like Cook does have a feather power up that he's throwing down here as they do head into that 4.0 4% gradient or so. This is the point to try and get away, it looks like, for Cook here. 3.5 watts per kilogram is all O'Brien has to follow. Connolly is there as well trying to follow, as we do see Abel 3 seconds back. Not a part of the race, though, so not going to matter here. D. Cook now 3.5. Brian now 4.4. Pulling Connolly right back up. Does look like Brian is racing against these boys, so it's going to be O'Brien, Cook, and Connolly to the line, but Cook going from way out, 320, 330 watts or so. O'Brien now 4.7, with Connolly sitting on, it looks like, at 3.8, 4.9. Now kicking up into 5, just throwing down that drafting power up and getting the pull from O'Brien right back to Cook's wheel. Cook's only got 1 second. He's going to have to start cooking some watts, dude, if he's going to be able to hold these boys off, as they have that downhill section. 14 meters, though. It's still 14 meters. Nobody has a draft on D. Cook. Douglas Cook may be able to hold these boys off, but here comes Connolly up into that 6 watts, 7 watts per kilogram. Now 8 watts per kilogram. Will he be able to catch him? It looks like it's going to happen here, boys and girls. All the way to the line. Connolly now 9 watts per kilogram, and it looks like Connolly going to be taking the W here as Cook tries to kick, but you got to go with the speed on the downhill section here, boys and girls. Connolly, though, fades a little bit, but it's not going to happen, as Connolly does get across the line there just ahead of Cook, followed by O'Brien for the C category. 1, 2, and 3. Nice job to those riders. And I am seeing Diane Baker. Good to see you. BJ Alfonso, good to see you as well. And good to see BJ for the B race. He says you only saw a fake B race. Well, it looks like they were all within category limits. So good job to those boys out there on course. Sorry, BJ. I did try to catch you as much as I possibly could, but was unable to follow your finish. I wish I would have grabbed your sprint, as those are always great sprints, BJ. Nice job there. I'll take a look at the results and see where you finished after all. D. Brodman saying, all you fit folks, if you take a week off, say you're sick, do you find your max HR is higher when you return? Sometimes, yes, D. Brodman, that does happen. Sometimes that does happen. Sometimes it's just that it is easier to grab onto a higher heart rate because of you get up to your higher heart rate quicker, actually. Somebody is linking Chris Beck Racing, Joe's Bike Shop. We're seeing Chris Beck Racing. Looks like he is a mountain biker. Riding on Scott Bikes there. Somebody was linking that over at Swift Community Live's Twitch, actually. So chatting a little bit, it looks like, about who Chris Beck is. This guy who's taking a 4th place today in the KISS race. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go through some of the results here. We are waiting for a few of the D category racers to make their way to the line, I believe. M. Cohn most likely leading these boys out. Killing it into some crazy wattage, though. Maybe going to be within category limits. We'll have to take a look and see here real quick if it's out of control or not. But looking through here in the live results, again, in the A category, Adam Webb, Justin Purificati, followed by 40. That's your top 3. In the B category, Greg Magnuson at 3.5 watts per kilogram. Definitely able to win within category limits, followed by Matthew Jackson and Martin DeSierens. Sebastian Sternfalk, followed by Brad Curtis. Martin Salin and Daniel Watna, followed by Nicholas Fargland and Glenn Jason. We'll give a shout out to Mr. BJ Alfonso. Nice job there for your top 20 finish in the B category, representing the PTZ team. In the C category, looks like we do have, it will be Douglas Cook for the first one across the line. For the official results, I believe we'll have to wait. Actually, we'll have to wait for the officials to come in. But 3.0 and 3.2 watts per kilogram coming in from James Connolly for 2nd place, followed by Shannon O'Brien. Everyone ahead of them, John Kluwer and Cervello Paul, will be getting upgrades into the B category. Colleen Wade, I think the first one across the line, actually, amongst the women. So nice job to Colleen out there on course. I believe our first woman rider across the line. Let's go ahead and make sure real quick on that. And I do believe she wins the women's category today as I scroll through here. Yep, definitely. So nice job to, I believe it is Colleen Wade out of New Zealand with a solid effort and an upgrade to the B category. Nice job, Colleen. Moving through then for the D category, we still have a few out on course. It does look like Webb and Coin, who we were looking at here, battling it out to the line actually. H. Webb from Canada and M. Coin, looks like it's their first time out on Zwift actually, racing as far as I can see here. So a little over category limits coming from Coin and Webb. Still a solid battle it looks like though. As they make their way through the Essies here, we can get right back into the action with these boys. As Coin now kicks and kicks and kicks, 531. Has a little bit interesting, something interesting going on there, it looks like, with the pedal stroke as he goes right on by. 8 Webb there, 2.7 watts per kilogram or so. Webb now 1.6. It looks like just a little ways back from these boys, though. We do have Brzezinski and FKIS and Daros all battling it out. If we move back just a little ways, Juicy G Hughes in the C category race, 190 beats per minute. Boys and girls, Cycling Made Social online here in the Pain Caves. The only way that 189, 190 a lot of times is happening is because of how incredibly hard the world of Zwift racing can push people. And that's really what it's all about here, is the social aspect of getting hammered on by your fellow Zwifters out there. We do see it does look like Al Brzezinski out of Poland, riding for Team Poland here, 224 watts or so in the D category. Looks like he is going to be pulling off the W here, I believe. Taylor was with him, R. Taylor, but I'm not seeing R. Taylor out of Great Britain anywhere near right here. Maybe a little ways ahead. I'll see if I can grab an R. Taylor here, but it does not seem to be Taylor up ahead. So I do believe it is going to be Al Brzezinski to the line for the win in the D category. Does not look like anybody's anywhere near. Actually, Daro's here now, 14 seconds back. Solid ride here. GCM, but just got dropped off, it looks like, by the Team Poland rider. Solid effort here coming from Daros out of France now. Brzezinski, the only 0 watts per kilogram for a moment there, 45 kilometers per hour. Daros now kicking it up over the top here at 34, 35. Will he have consistency? No, it looks like fading now up and over the top here. And I believe it is going to be Al Brzezinski for first place, followed by Daros for second within category limits. The other two who were up ahead in the D category are going to be getting upgrades. Michael Cohen has crossed the line here, 3.2 watts per kilogram. That will give him a C category, actually, followed... I'm sorry, no, C category, with Hussein Webb here out of Canada, with also 3.2 watts per kilogram. They will both be getting upgrades to the C category. Congratulations, boys. And they're right on the edge there, so... Well, they're on the edge of BC, actually, so... they'll go up to the C, but definitely as they start racing in the C's, they'll most likely get upgrades again, as it'll push them even harder into 3.2 plus. Brzezinski now, it looks like, able to hold off Daros. 21 seconds back. That will be the break for the D category. But we do have a battle here between Yud and Daros, actually, out of France here. And then there is Fig here. This is quite the battle here, actually. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's all these other D riders who caught right back up to Daros and went right flying on by here. 2.1 watts per kilogram. Looks like Daros threw everything he had into that 5% uphill gradient. Now the right-hand turn. Brzezinski now going to have to be careful here, as there is this group of riders here chasing him down, working together, but it is 17 seconds out to the Polish rider here. Looks like he is going to be able to get away now at 207 watts or so. But you now with FKIS and Fig, this is going to be the battle of the line for second, third, and fourth, as Brzezinski here is going to be taking the W. We'll go ahead and give him a ride on. Yud here, we'll give him a ride on as well. Kiss now, let's see this battle to the line here, boys and girls, in this D category now. This is still for the podium. As the ride-ons start to fall here, the riders are going to start looking for when to give the go. How far out are they going to go from? And it's all about this downhill. I don't know if you guys noticed, but that slingshot that comes through is so incredibly important. Just like in real life, when you're taking that power through the downhill and taking that speed through that downhill and then launch off of the speed. Because as soon as you flatten out there, the drag kicks back into you even more. So if you don't kick right at the bottom, you lose a lot of speed, actually. You have to take that speed right on with you and kick off of it. 200 meters to go here. We do have Fig. Looks like Brzezinski now just going to cross the line. Nice job to him. Gets the W. Fig now, no kick, actually. Is he going to be able to hold off Kiss? Kiss kicks right at the line here. Looks like he's going to be able to do it here for second place across the line, followed by Fig. It's actually F Kiss, followed by Fig, and then Ude for fourth place. So that is the results there for the D category. Brzezinski, followed by, I believe it was Fig, is that right? And then F Kiss, followed by Ude for the top four. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We that'll be it for our KISS race today. Again, the A category, it was Adam Webb, followed very closely by the winner of the CBR race, Justin Fury Ficati, and then 40 across the line riding unattached. In the B category, then it was Greg Magnus, followed by Matthew Jackson, Martin Desirens. Martin Desirens and Matthew, make sure to upgrade to the A category next time. Sebastian Sternfalk, and then Brad Curtis. Brad also gets the upgrade. Looking through here, so that's your top five in the B category. In the C category, we're looking at Douglas Cook, James Connolly, and then Shannon O'Brien. We do have a couple upgrades, Cervello Paul and John Kluwer at the top of that C category. Make sure to grab those, but definitely James Connolly, Douglas Cook first, James Connolly second. Shannon O'Brien gets an upgrade. We'll give him third place there, maybe. We'll wait for the organizers, though. Unsure of how many of those he's had. You do get one within, like, a tiny margin, and he's at 3.3 watts per kilogram. Not, that's only 0.1%, 0.1 watts per kilogram, a tenth of a watt per kilogram. So a lot of times they do give you a little leadway. So in the D category, then, as we just saw, it was Lucas Brzezinski, Simon Fig, and F. Audi, followed very closely by Surreal Odd, and then Paul Byrne just crossed the line with Nicholas Daros and Richard Taylor. That is the finishing order. Nice job on the win there. Lucas Brzezinski for Team Poland. Second place, Simon Fig. F. Audi for third. Got any questions? Throw me some questions as we are finishing up here. Go ahead and answer any of those you might have. We are seeing here, looks like, looking through here, James Lamb saying, you have hit a higher HR after a week off because you're a fresher. That's true. Less fatigue. That could be true there. There's a couple of different reasons, James Lamb, but yeah, definitely that could be a reason. Dan Baker saying, I did a ladies kiss race and made it third in my cat. I'm getting a little better. And that's what we hear over and over, everybody, is that when you start racing out on Zwift, the responses are so quick, actually, especially if you're unfamiliar with racing, you haven't done a whole lot of racing in real life. You see the results extremely quickly because of the high-intensity efforts. And high-intensity efforts, it's just essentially like doing intervals, except for a whole lot of motivation coming from the riders around you, pushing you and pushing you and pushing you. Force them short, high-intensity intervals. And so it goes by extremely quickly, and that response from HIT training is just really, really quick. And so that's what you're seeing there. Good to hear it, Diane. And we hear it over and over again. So most of these guys with no HRM person and manual, really not most of them, you actually are unable to get qualified for the races without the heart rate monitors there, person. Just so you know, the race organizers are all over that. Head on over to zwiftpower.com for a full explanation of the way that the rules are set up by each one of the race organizers. If you go to, actually, let's just go ahead and show you for a solid explanation of exactly how that works, because that is a really good question. A lot of people have those questions, and it is extremely important to answer those. As for anybody, you want racing to mean something, and I completely understand that. You should have heard me raging the other day while racing a KISS 100 myself. So trust me, there's definitely, you want it to be as accurate as you possibly can be, right? And so if you head on over in here and you click on race information, you can see that please note, Strava data for KISS must be open. Z-Power riders with average watts per kilogram duration greater than 3.9 will not be eligible for cat race wins. Riders producing over 5 watts per kilogram average will be DQ'd. Reinstated if real-life matching performance can be provided. And Zada goes through those and makes sure that your peak powers from a real power strain gauge power meter can match those. Heart rate monitor required for Cat A racers. That's not the same between all race organizers, just so you know. Different race organizers have different rules, but that is how it works between for the KISS races. In some of the races, it is required to have heart rate monitor across the board. There are different organizers organizing different things for more accuracy, depending on what the priority is for those. KISS races tend to be get everybody out there racing. Try not to exclude as many people as we can. We don't want to exclude people as much as possible. At the same time, they try and have this balance as much as they can to keep things as accurate as they possibly can. And so they're kind of middle of the road, stringent. And there are more strict. There are races that are a little stricter that you can jump into as well. And there are other ways of categorizing that's coming down the road. At Z Community Live, can you buy my power? I need more power. Vegan Porsche saying over at bringing in a little bit of chatter at the Twitter. Vegan, good to see you, man. Can you buy my power? I need more power. And Dan saying, how important would you say is set up for Zwift races? Like, the better equipment you use is real important. And Johnny is correct there. It is important to have proper calibration. Your power is your power, right? And so unless you're like if you're a serious racer, which Diane doesn't sound like you've been racing seriously for any time, you're just getting into Zwift racing. And so it's important that your calibration's consistent for each ride, though. And so if you're using Z-Power, you want to make sure that the tire's pumped up to the same PSI every time. You want to make sure that your tension on the trainer is the same every time. You want to make sure that everything that's going to control the speed of that wheel in the back is going to be consistent, Diane. So if that's for Z-Power, because Z-Power is measured on the speed of the wheel and is giving an estimation of what that power would be based on that specific trainer and how it's been calibrated by Zwift. And so really important with Z-Power to have the same PSI in the tire, because that's going to affect how fast that tire is spinning. The same tension on the trainer, because that's going to affect how fast it's spinning. Anything that's going to affect even how hot it is in the room. So that's going to be a little bit different too. Not going to be huge. That's not going to be like a huge difference, but it could give you a percentage difference that'll see you buffed a little bit on a day or taken debuffed a little bit on another day. So just to take that into account, Diane, if using Z-Power. Now, if you are on a smart trainer, just make sure you're calibrating it. I try and calibrate my smart trainer every time I get on. If I'm using a smart trainer, if you're on a strain gauge power meter, if it's self-calibrating, you're good to go. That's usually within 2% of all other power meters. So that's why that is the most trusted, usually, source of power. And there have been calls from some race organizers say, strain gauge only, strain gauge only. And I've had plenty of situations where I'm out in a race. I'm like, man, I wish this was strain gauge only, because I'm using a strain gauge. I want that real power. But anyways, no problem, Diane. And everybody, thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, congratulations to all the racers. And we'll see you guys, I believe it will be tomorrow for a whole lot more racing and riding on Zwift. I believe we've got the Scotty Weiss ride coming up tomorrow on Zwift Community Live. So you want to join World Champion, World TT, and Road Race Masters Champion for a Wednesday night ride. For those of you who are in the Americas or Australia, you should be able to join that, I think, in Australia. Jump on in with him, and I believe it's a Watopia ride. I'm not positive, but he will be running a group ride you can do live with him on Zwift Community Live on our Facebook as well as our Twitch. All VODs are also saved on Twitch and YouTube. Again, ZwiftCommunityLive.com is where you can find links to all of the places that we are live or have VODs. If you missed the CVR Las Vegas event this weekend, Make sure to check that replay out, guys. It's all over our Facebook. You can't miss it. We've got highlights of the men's break. We've got highlights of the women's breakaway, awards. We've got full race highlights and replays. So lots of awesome stuff. First time ever World Cup launch. Really exciting stuff going on with the racing with the CVR boys. And we'll be back tomorrow, I believe, with some Swedish racing as well, with some SER stuff. And Scotty's on for tomorrow, confirmed. Sounds good. All right, racers, great job. And as always, everybody, ride on.